Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the land. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the clean of heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are they who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they insult you and persecute you and utter every kind of evil against you falsely because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven. The Gospel of the Lord. We will now ask those who are going to do words of remembrance.
Good afternoon. For those who don't know me, I'm one of the taller ones as well. I'm Barbara's sisters. And I'm also sister-in-law to Mark, Steph, Belinda, and Matt's aunt, but also honored and privileged to have been Matt's godmother. Matt was always a happy child. He had a quick smile, a witty sense of humor, and a sensitive personality who cared deeply about his family. Matt was bigger in life, not only in his presence, but also in his shoe size. And he struggled sometimes, although to feel comfortable in those shoes. When Barb and Mark lived in Granville, Ohio, which is about 45 minutes from where I live in Columbus, Matt took up the hot sport of snowboarding when that was big. He really enjoyed it and he really excelled. When I asked Barb what I could get Matt for a Christmas gift, Barbara said, well, he really wants these special snowboard boots. And I said, great, I got it, check it off your list. Well, the hunt to find snowboard shoes in a size 14 shoe size proved more difficult than imagined. But when I finally found the pair and I put them on my size 6 feet and clumped around in them, Matt had a good laugh. Those shoes of Matt's were filled with lots of love, and they were attached to just a really big heart. He was one special guy. Matt also had a very witty sense of humor, and when Matt was younger, Barb was always telling him that he had a responsibility to uphold as my godson. And Barb would kiddingly tell him that since I didn't have any children, that when I got old, that Matt would have to take care of me. So on this one special occasion, Barb was reminding Matt kiddingly of that responsibility. And Matt, he didn't miss a beat. He walked up to me, and he put his arm around me, and he got in a really serious voice, and he said, Aunt Cindy, don't worry. I'll put you in the bed next to Mom in the nursing home. And then he flashed that famous Matt smile. He was so quick with his witty comebacks, but he was quicker with that smile. He was one special guy. Matt cared deeply for his family, his parents, his sisters, his brother-in-laws, his fiancée, his boys, his aunts, his uncle, his cousins, and his grandparents. It may be a surprise to some, but Matt was really a wonderful writer. And when his pop-up, my dad, passed away, Matt wrote this really heartfelt poem that really none of us really knew about. And I'd like to share that with you because it's very intuitive. It really touched all of us. This was his poem. He was an artist in many ways, a mason, a father loved in all his days, a husband to such a beautiful wife, who he would have given anything, even his life. Now in his suffering and time of need, we'll all be there for him and take on the deed. If life were perfect and Grandma was well, she'd be there too, like a prisoner in a cell. Holding his hand, standing by his side, I know my Grandma would be there until the day he died. I know that it is tough to think of his death, but God will be with him even after his last breath. And so when the time comes, as it may be soon, we'll hold our heads high and sing him the tune. Be proud to have loved a man who played such a role, Philip R. Ferreira, my grandpa, a beautiful soul. One talented writer. He was one special guy. Sorry. There's no doubt that Matt loved his boys, Jackson and Ryan, although he was only with them for a short period of time. He was loving, caring, and he was amazed that he and Chani produced these two perfect, precious, identical twin boys. And I'd like to share a text that I received from Matt in October. Barbara and I went to visit the twins for a weekend at their new home. And when we returned, we were telling Matt about how great the boys were doing, how loving Eileen and Ed were, and how they had pictures of he and Chani in their home. I told him how proud we were of his hard work and his new job. I also told him that I hope he realized that what he did for the boys, as well as another family, was honorable, loving, and the right thing to do. Told him that his sons were healthy, happy, and surrounded by a huge circle of love. This was his response. Hi, Aunt Cindy. Thanks so much for that text. What you said means a lot to me, and I really need to hear that sometimes. I felt bad as I didn't get to talk with you much when you were here, but what you said to me about them having pics of Chani and I up around the house warms my heart and makes me feel a lot better about the situation. It was short, but as always, good to see you. Love you always, Matt. He loved his family. He was dedicated to all. He was one special guy. I would be remiss in this eulogy if I didn't make note of two wonderful parents, Barb and Mark. And they're also known as Missy and Mr. B. If you get a chance, you'll have to ask Mark about those nicknames. But they are heroes. They have their endless love, unconditional support, dedication to Matt and those two precious twin boys was truly amazing. We're all blessed to have them in our lives. We were all truly blessed to have Matt in our lives, even for such a short time. Matt will live forever in our hearts, and he lives on in his two precious twin boys, Jackson and Ryan. Matt was one special guy. Matt was one special godson.
Who is next?
guys for coming. Glad everybody could make it. Some people couldn't. They're here in spirit with us. As many of you know, I've known Matt since we were 2 and 3 years old. Our families were so close that we would tell people we were cousins. Having 2 best friends whose backyards connected, you can only imagine the entertainment that followed. Not only did all 9 of us have the same sense of humor, Matt and I shared these memories as laughter each and every time we were together. When we were 5 and 6, Amy and I slept over the Hall's house one night, and for some reason, Steph, Aim, Malin, Matt, and I all stayed in Stephanie's bed together. The next morning, Matt and I woke to our sisters giggling and telling us that we had to kiss or else. So bullied as we were, we did. So Maddie, you were my first kiss. Shortly after, he and I decided that we were going to grow up and get married and live on a farm and raise monkeys. Being the huge animal lovers that we were. So growing up was always an adventure, making bike trails and jumps and the neighborhood gang, and watching cheesy horror movies was always fun. And once Matt could drive, we would always tell our moms, we got to go to CVS. I don't know why, but it was just CVS. That was our excuse to get out of the house, drive around, and listen to music. And we would. And I never in my life have felt so at home with anybody as I did with Matt. He was a constant reminder of all the fun we encountered growing up until present day. I could be completely around strangers, see Matt and I'm happy again, and I feel safe. He protected me like his little sister that I was, and my best friend. Matt would give any Tom, Dick, or Harry the clothes off his back. If they were in need, he always kept in touch with his friends, like so many of us, and sincerely loved all of them individually and unconditionally. He never judged, he understood, and he's helped so many people, especially me. And I can hear him now. Trey. Look, don't be sad. This is where I'm at, and I'm finally happy because I'm with Johnny. My boys have 2 amazing people as their new parents. And they will know one day how much Johnny and I love them. August 27, 2014, at 10:05 p.m., he messaged me. Hey Trey, I got your text and that means so much to me, and I am lucky to have you in my life. I've always considered myself lucky in that sense. I love you, Trey, with all my heart. And I have so much I want to tell you, and hopefully we can find some time soon. Nothing left to do but smile, smile, smile. He was the best and an awesome writer, and I agree. So Matt told me everything besides which may have hurt me, but I never lost hope or ever gave up on him. I'm not gonna stand here and lie and say I'm fine with him now. You all want the best for them. You try so hard to keep their mind positively busy, and believe you me, we always made each other laugh. We're family and best friends, and I couldn't have wished this connection any stronger. Was I ever mad at him? You bet. As I sit and think though, besides what he told me, did I recently go through these nightmares he was facing? Over the last year and a half, Matt was the only brother I've ever had, blood or not. We were closer than any. With that, I know this is not what he wanted for himself. Do I love him any less for slipping? The answer is no. For those of you who knew Matt, he was the most compassionate, selfless, caring BFG, big friendly giant. anyone could ever meet. And I found this compassion in Dan, and I know Matt's happy knowing I'm with him. I love it. He loved Dan, just as I take extreme comfort knowing Matt is with Shawnee. I miss and love you, Shawnee. I believe before anybody condemns a person, we each need to look in the mirror and decide then and there what comes into our heads. Needs never come out of our mouths, for we are all so imperfect and have our own addictions. As Matt loves so many people, I know he would want us to make good decisions, and I believe we owe that to him in his memory and to ourselves. Matt, aka Hee Haw, that smile, that laugh, that sense of comfort and memory. I do not say goodbye, my brother, for I know I'll see you in my dreams, but eventually someday when it's time. I miss you more than words can say. There is no darkness when it comes to you, just life, long best friend and brother, and our happy memories to dwell on. Rest in peace, Matt. You so deserve it. Thank you.
Where do I begin? Just want to thank the Paul family for giving me the opportunity to say a couple words about my brother. You guys have always been good to me, and I really appreciate that. I miss him very much. You know, my life hasn't been the same since he left us. You know, when he left, he took, you know, a lot of me with him. You know,